Hi everybody, today I'm going to make Homestead Chronicles prompted me to use my bread maker again. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to do a simple white loaf using all-purpose white flour, and I've got all the ingredients here, so I'm going to begin. So I'm putting in 2 cups of water and 2 tablespoons. I've already pre-measured that. So that just goes into this is the bread maker. Has a paddle in the bottom, that's what does all the kneading. So 1 cup of water and 2 tablespoons of water. So that's that done. And then 2 tablespoons of oil. This is well, it's calling for vegetable oil, so that's what I'm putting in. I made it with there's 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And 1.5 teaspoons of salt. There's 1. And that's 1/2. 2 tablespoons of sugar. This way. 1, 2, and 1.25 tablespoons of milk powder. So this is instant skim milk powder. 1.25. So that's the milk powder. Oh, so that was 1.5. So, and that's what I used, just 1/2. Now 3.25 cups of flour. This is 2 cups of flour, and I've got it right full, so I'm going to say that's 1/4 cup, right to the top, because the line is here, and this is very full. So that's my 2.25. And this is 1 more cup to make it 3.25. And then we need 1.75 teaspoons of yeast, and it's excuse me, it's the bread maker's yeast, or the bread machine. Fleshman's. I used a regular one last time, but I'm going to try this one because this is what the recipe calls for. I hadn't seen this before. The bread maker yeast, bread machine yeast. So it's calling for 1 teaspoon, 1.75 teaspoons. So there's 1. And 1/2, and 1/4. So that's 1.75. So that's it. That's all the ingredients. And just double check. 1 cup and 2 tablespoons of water. 2 tablespoons of oil, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of milk powder, 3¼ cups of flour, and 1¾ teaspoons of yeast. So that's what it is. That's the mix. It's got the water in the bottom. No stirring. I'm just gonna add it to the bread maker. So I'll be back in a second. So this is going to go into the bread machine. I'm doing this one-handed, so bear with me. It drops in, and you have to, well, this is a Black & Decker Pro, and you have to turn it to lock it. Turn it that way to lock it, and you got lines here to show you where it's supposed to be, and it's locked in now. It won't come up. It has to start at this angle over here and then be locked in. Okay, so that's ready to go, and then all we have to do, you can choose your what kind of crust you want, whether you want regular crust, which is what I have it set at, and you do that with these two controls, and also the type of loaf, and that's it. It's already preset because I've already used this, so all you have to do is switch it on. That's it, and it's going to take 3 hours 50 minutes, and there will be a loaf of bread. And I had a very small compact loaf that was quite dense the last time I made this recipe. I'm gonna see if the bread maker yeast makes it rise more, but anyway, I'll be back when it's, so it doesn't do anything now for a while, it just sits. I guess it's waiting for the yeast, and then it'll start stirring in a little while, and then it does that, repeats that on timed intervals, so it takes all the work out of making bread. Anyway, I'll get back to you when it's working, and then back at the end when we have a loaf in 3.5 or nearly 4 hours. That's all for now. Back again. It's doing its thing now. It's the paddle's going round and round, and I can just about see it. There's a ball of dough in there. Might be able to see that. Anyway, that's it working. That's what it does. It does that, and then it rests, and then it does it again, same as you would do if you were kneading, I guess. So this is the first kneading, or making it into a dough ball, I guess. So I will be back later when we have a finished product. Oh, and I didn't have my glasses last time. This is the how dark you want the crust. So you can set that with this button. So you can go with light, medium, dark. That was what I missed last time. So anyway, that's it for now. I'll be back later. Okay, one loaf done. Looks fairly light. It was darker than that the last time, so I used olive oil, and I used half and half cream instead of the milk powder, and I used vegetable oil in it this time, but that really shouldn't have affected the colour. So anyway, that's what it looks like. Smells good. It's hot. Looks okay. okay. I think you can see that. You get the mark from the paddle, that's the only thing, but other than that, you get an upright loaf, which is done quite nicely. It's a little light on the top, but the bottoms and the sides are done well. That's a regular. So I will cut it and see you a little later. I'm in the middle of making supper at the minute, so we're into beef stroganoff for supper tonight. So it's simmering away here, and the pasta's nearly cooked and has to be added. So that's it. This is the bread maker. It did all the work, and I have a nice loaf. And you can make bigger loaves. It just there's different recipes. This is just the simplest recipe for a small loaf. I think this is supposed to be for £1.5 pound loaf. But I would cut it this way, down here. It could be cut the other way too. It could be cut that way. But it's got to sit for a while and cool. But I suspect it's going to be fairly dense. But we will see when I cut it. That's all for now. It's the beef stroganoff. Just going to simmer for a few minutes, 5 minutes maybe. Had the pasta added. This is supper tonight, and maybe some fresh bread from the bread maker. He did all the hard work tonight. Or today, I should say. And there's a little bit of pasta left over to make a tuna salad. And bow ties, this should be an egg noodle by rights. A flat egg noodle, but I wanted to try something different. So, there you go, supper tonight. That's all. I'll be back with the bread sliced. There's the bread. Quite dense, but I cut it too early. It should have sat for a little while, so it's a little elasticy at the minute, but it's quite dense. And that's buttered crust, a little light, but the rest of it's good crust. I will try it. Very good. Fresh. That's it. That's all for now. Enjoy my stroganoff dinner and my fresh bread. Thanks for watching.